Hi Sagittarius, welcome to Sweet Tea Astrology and Tarot. My name is Erica. Welcome to the channel. I'm so glad that you found me, and thank you for being here. This is your August 2017 Astrology and Tarot forecast, where I'm going to take the main highlights of my astrology notes for the Sagittarius rising and the cards that fall for all of my Sages, and try to give you the most empowering information and story that I can to help you make the most beneficial and empowering decisions that you can in your world that may be coming to you. This is the third time I have tried recording this video. So fingers crossed this will be third time as a charm, right? And it's interesting because you are having the lunar eclipse occur in the third house. This is on the 7th of the month. We've got a lunar eclipse at 15 degrees of Aquarius playing out in the third house for you, which is traditionally ruled by Gemini. It's the house of your short distance trips, siblings, cousins, neighbors, people in your neighborhood, your communication devices, how you communicate, and how you interpret information. It also deals with your daily commute to and from point A to B and the vehicle that you use. Lunar eclipses are tied to closures, resolutions, conclusions, endings, chapters closing, sometimes that you didn't have a necessary say in the plot or the timing or the details. Lunar eclipses are also associated with feminine energy. This lunar eclipse at 15 degrees of Aquarius will also have an impact on any planets, asteroids, or major chart angles from 10 to 15 degrees of the fixed signs, and that is Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, and Aquarius. A little bit later on the 12th of the month, we've got Mercury, the planet of thought, movement, and communication, going retrograde in the sign of Virgo. Mercury rules Virgo, so if you know any Virgos, they're probably going to be having a difficult time with communication in one way or another, so be a little lenient with them. Matter of fact, if you know a Gemini, they may be having a hard time too. For you, Sagittarius rising, the Mercury retrograde will be occurring in the 10th house. The 10th house I think of through the lens of William Shakespeare. He said, all the world is a stage, and I consider the 10th house as the stage that you approach the world on, and it's how the world knows you. Through your career, status, and reputation, how you deal with authority figures in your world, in your private and public life. It's also dealing with authority figure, or like authorities in their field of expertise. The 10th house is also the house of destiny, and it is traditionally ruled by Capricorn. On the 21st of the month, we've got that solar eclipse that will be playing out at 28 degrees of Leo. And solar eclipses are new life, new birth, new beginning, new breath, new growth. Solar energy is associated with the masculine energy. The impact of this solar eclipse will be felt from 24 to 30 degrees of the fixed signs. That's Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, and Aquarius. And it will also be impacting 0 to 4 degrees of the mutable signs. That's Gemini, Virgo, Sagittarius, and Pisces. So for some of you Sages, especially born at the very beginning of Sagittarius season, you will be feeling the impacts of this solar eclipse. For Sag rising, it's going to be in the 9th house that's traditionally ruled by Sagittarius. It is the higher education, long distance trips, adventures and questing. It deals with the study of foreign languages, religion, metaphysics, astrology, stuff like this. It deals with legal system matters and political system matters, and it governs foreign people, foreign places, and foreign things, among other things. It wouldn't surprise me if some of you Sages wanted to go back to school or plan a long-distance trip to go somewhere, or to start studying something like astrology. Be a good time for that. Okay. Something else of note for you Sages, especially because Saturn is transiting through Sagittarius. Saturn will be going direct on the 25th of August. So you are almost finished with the Saturn transit through Sagittarius that started back at the end of 2014. Things have been difficult since 2014 for many of the Sagittarius out there, especially Sagittarius rising. But a Saturn transit through Sagittarius period, if you've got any strong Sag energy, you felt it. Saturn is the planet that represents limitation, structure, and containment. I think of a Saturn transit as the building code inspector going through that home or that house and inspecting it, shaking it to its core and testing its structure and its stability. And for Sag rising, it's your first house, and that's the physical embodiment of who you are, and it's how the world sees you. It is your physical body, it's your appearance, it's your personality. It's people's first impression of you. And again, Saturn will be going direct on the 25th. And Saturn will be moving on into your second house, Sagittarius rising, in December of this year. So it's not like the lessons stop. They just move to a different place in the sky. And I'm shuffling my cards for you. Any messages that my Sagittarius need to know for the month of August 2017? Guidance, clarity, information, blind spots that they need to be shown or made aware of. Anything they need to look out for the Mercury retrograde. For my Sag viewers and friends for this August 2017. A lot of the focus for the rest of the month will be on the 9th house after the solar eclipse on the 21st. Mercury will go direct at the eclipse point at 28 degrees of Leo on the 5th of September as well. And all of that information is down in the description below for you, Sag, if you missed any of it or you want to write it down to give you an idea as to what in the world is going on around you and what is making people act so crazy. Alright, I'm going to cut the deck for you. Bottom card represents the underlying theme or overarching energy of the spread, and the top three are for clarity. If you need a time frame association with the cards, it's past, present, future. I'm going to shuffle for you now from the Illuminated Tarot deck. This deck is a dual-purpose deck. It can be used as a playing card deck. It can also be used as a tarot deck. Caitlin Keegan, the author of this deck, the artist who did this, took the major arcana and reduced it down into the minor arcana. So some of the cards that fall have many different meanings. So if that's the case, I'll bring forth as many of the resonant messages as I can for you. Any clarity, guidance, information for my Sages out there for August 2017. Alright. I'm going to cut this deck. I'm going to pull the top and the bottom cards from the cut deck. Top, bottom. And now I'm going to shuffle for you the Sage Goddess Gemstone Oracle deck. Let me cut this for you. Again, I will pull the top and bottom card from this deck. Okay, Sag, what I'm going to do now is hit the pause button. I'm going to flip these cards over and do the tarot math. And I'll be back on the other side with the most empowering information and story that I can bring forth to you from the messages on the cards and the notes on the astrology that I've taken for you. So, hang tight, y'all. I'll be right back. Hey Sagittarius, I'm back with your cards, so let's go ahead and get started. The underlying theme or overarching energy of this spread is the Knight of Cups. This Knight of Cups, I feel like, can represent one of two different types of elements. Water for the cups, right here. Cancer, Scorpio, or Pisces. But he also has wings on his boot and his helmet, so I see air sign energy as well. Gemini, Libra, or Aquarius. This Knight of Cups is associated with the theme of a message or messenger or movement, sometimes fast-paced. This individual or energy is romantic and charming, and I think that it really speaks to the planet Uranus, dealing with shocks and surprises, changes and liberation and rebellion. Uranus is going retrograde in Aries. This is your 5th house, Sagittarius. And the 5th house is the house of your romance and your love life, but it's also your children and your creative endeavors and creative abilities. It's your social life and where you get to blow off steam. We also had Venus, the planet of love, beauty, and harmony, go retrograde in Aries earlier this year. So this could be a message or something from someone that you may have met during that time frame coming back to you from the past. But it's definitely a positive omen, and being in the upright and the posture facing towards the future is a good thing as well. Just understand that anything started under the influence of a Mercury retrograde, you do not have the full understanding or the full information at hand, and it's not always because of a deception, but it could be involving this situation because of a card that fell, and we'll get to that in a second. But Mercury retrograde will not give you the full information, and it gives you an opportunity to see this situation differently once Mercury goes direct. That can be good, bad, or ugly. It's not always a bad thing. So, forewarned is forearmed. The first card in the top 3 for clarity that fell in the past position for you is the 8 of Cups. This card has, at the very beginning, a moon and a sun. For me, this is symbolic of the eclipse season that we are going to be influenced by during the entirety of August. The number 8 speaks to the 8th house on the astrological wheel, and that is the house of Scorpio, and it deals with life, death, and rebirth. It's literally where the phoenix rises from the ashes. It's our primal, basic, or human instincts. It deals with other people's money. It also involves sexuality. It's a very intimate house. It's a very transformative house. Metamorphosis and regeneration happens here. This card with the cups represents water sign energy. That is Cancer, Scorpio, or Pisces. It also indicates that there is someone walking away from something, or it could be reflecting on walking away from something in the past. This card also deals with the theme of change, and it can represent escapism or just disappointment. I see this card as either being emotionally blocked or emotional walls blocking a person out or keeping a person out, because there's actual water separating this person from the cups, this endeavor, this emotional endeavor that a lot of time and energy has been put into. 8 weeks, 8 months, 8 years. You get what I'm saying? Could be that this person decided to walk away, or the reflection has once again been influenced by the Venus retrograde in Aries. When I see a lot of red, I think of Aries energy. This is a cloak, but in my mind's eye, it's got a red hood as well. Especially with the associations coming up with the other 2 cards wearing red hats. When I see red, I think of fire signs, and Aries rules the head. So we've got Uranus in Aries, dealing with shocks and surprises, possibly coming to the head. Sorry. I guess they decided to mow. Mercury's in shadow, y'all. With the other 2 cards having red hats, I feel like this is just another sign dealing with Venus going retrograde in Aries. Also, that happened at the beginning of this year in the spring portion, but Mercury going retrograde, Uranus going retrograde in the same area of the sky where Venus went retrograde, all of these things giving you an opportunity to reflect. I feel like that's why a lot of these cards are in the reverse as well. That and eclipse season and Mercury retrograde in itself is a difficult transition to deal with. The second card that fell for you fell in the present position, and this is a 7 of Swords reversed. And when I was referring to the Knight of Cups and Mercury retrograde and information not being clear, sometimes it's just an honest mistake, but there are other times where deception is involved. This card is a card that deals with a deception. This number 7 speaks to the theme of faith, but it also speaks to the 7th house on the astrological wheel, and that deals with Libra. That's the house of Libra. It's your partnerships and relationships and how you identify who you are as an individual with those interactions. How their responses show you who you are. It's kind of like that mirror being put to your face. It's also the house of counseling and open enemies. I feel like this card is reflective of the eclipse that's occurring on the 7th of the month, because it's the 7th card of the Swords deck. The Swords represent air sign energy. The air signs are Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius. 7, Aquarius. It speaks very strongly to me. But I feel like this card is also very heavily influenced by Aries because, like I said, the red hat, red being fire, Aries ruling the head. Sounds like they're coming back for another swipe behind my house, so I'm going to be quiet for a second. There it is. Okay. The swords representing air signs. This card, it deals with betrayal. It deals with deception. I see it as lying and theft. I also see it as someone who thinks that they're getting away with something or that they have gotten away with something. They're outsmarting a situation. Oh, Mercury shadow, test me, test me. Looking to the past, it could be that could be reflecting on the betrayal or the deception of emotional walls or blockages being put up, and it could be involving a water sign and an air sign. It could also possibly be finding out about something that makes you want to give it another go, because while he's looking to the past, his body is moving towards the future. So proceed with caution. Again, understand whatever is started under a Mercury retrograde may not be the full representation of what it's being displayed as in the beginning. I got married at 18 years old under the influence of a Mercury retrograde way before I started studying astrology. It ended in a divorce. Not saying that that's just a bad omen, but I mean, you don't have the full picture of what you're getting into. They're coming back to mow again. Hang on. Oh, y'all. The third card that fell for you in the future position is the Nine of Cups. The number 9 speaks to the 9th house on the astrological wheel, which is definitely going to be impacted by some energy, and the solar eclipse is going to be definitely bringing it out. New growth, new energy, new life, new breath being breathed into the 9th house of long-distance trips, adventures and questing, legal system matters, political system matters, higher education, the study of religion, philosophy, astrology, foreign languages, legal system matters, metaphysics, astrology and tarot, all of those different types of things. Cups representing water sign energy, Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces. Again, we have somebody here wearing a red hat. I feel like there's an Aries that is very strong in your world somewhere. It's playing out. If it's not an actual physical person that is an Aries playing out representative for you, it's the energy of the Aries influence. Uranus going retrograde, shocks and surprises. Could be very shocking information that comes to you. Something that really sends you for a loop and feels like the rug has been pulled from underneath of you as well. The number 9 also speaks to the theme of fruition. This card in the upright deals with comfort and satisfaction, but in the reverse, it could be that you're dealing with discomfort, dissatisfaction for whatever reason. Probably dealing with how you feel emotionally in that 9th house, especially after the eclipse. Because the eclipses, and this was something I said I would speak about earlier and I didn't get to, eclipses, lunar and solar eclipses, if they're partial, if they're total, it doesn't really matter. They all give us an opportunity for new perspective. And what I mean by that is, think of walking into a very bright room and your eyes needing to acclimate to the brightness of the room. And once your eyes have acclimated to that room, the electricity, the power, whatever, the lights go out. And then your eyes acclimate to the darkness. And then, for whatever reason, the power comes back on. Nothing in the room has changed, but your viewpoint, your perspective, you will see things you did not see before. It's that sort of thing. It gives you a fresh set of eyes to see the situation through, for good, for bad, or the ugly. And depending on how far off your path that you are, is going to be whether you fall in the good, bad, or ugly. This isn't to scare anyone, but it is to let you know that they can be quite powerful. I experienced a near-death experience tied to a full blood moon total lunar eclipse in October of 2014. And just a few weeks after that, there was a solar eclipse in Scorpio, my rising sign. I started studying astrology, and look at where I'm at now. I'm trying to help y'all and give y'all a little bit of information, a heads up, really. I would have given anything had somebody told me just a week before that house fire to just be careful, to just be very careful with my body and my energy and my space, and to just watch myself and to not feel like nothing bad could ever happen to me, because my world was turned upside down, and I'm still recovering from it. I'm an Aries sun. I had the shock and surprise to my head. I've got PTSD from it. And another shock and surprise was that it happened during a Mercury retrograde. So it was like the information, the sadness, the depth of my story, the depth of my loss, the depth of my trauma just did not resonate with people. It was like I was telling them the saddest thing that had ever happened to me, the scariest thing that had ever happened to me, and they would just look at me like, huh, that sucks. And escaping a house fire in the middle of the night is not just a that sucks situation. It's so much more than that. And I've been dealing with, honestly, my bitterness towards the response of the people in my world who I felt would respond differently. It's been very eye-opening, and it looks like you're going to be dealing with an eye-opening experience. This card is seen as the wish card by some readers. I see this as a collector card, meaning he's got 9 of the 10 cups, and all he needs is one more. He's very proud about it. He wants to show you his collection. He's a collector. And it could be that you're dealing with someone who is reflecting on the emotional scars that they've collected, and it's almost like, I can't let go of them, because if I let go of them, then that means it didn't happen. And as someone who has walked that path, let me please save you some heartache in saying that you can let it go. And that doesn't mean that it didn't happen. It just means you don't have to carry that weight anymore. That got really deep, y'all. I'm sorry. You're Sagittarius, you can handle it. I'm a Scorpio rising. I go pretty deep. Y'all can handle the spiritual aspects of it. You're very, very, very spiritually minded individuals. And very opinionated too, so you either love me or hate me, but I'm a polarizing figure anyways. Enough about me. Let's talk about the tarot math that's associated with your spread. I pulled 4 cards for you. I did the math, the numbers at the top of the cards. I add them up, and then I reduce them if they're over the number 12. For you, the spread equaled 24. 2 plus 4 is 6, and that speaks to the 6th house on the astrological wheel. That is the house of Virgo, and that is where Mercury, the planet of thought, movement, and communication, is going retrograde. Mercury in shadow right now, about to go retrograde, is interfering with my ability to effectively communicate with y'all because of the mowing that's going on outside. Isn't it funny how that works out? The 6th house is the house of Virgo. It is the house of your work and health, or the competency and skills that you bring to the services that you provide. It could be because of this solar eclipse that you're going to be experiencing in the 9th house. You are reflecting on your daily life, your daily agenda, your daily to-do list, and what you can do to add feathers to your cap. And possibly going back to school. Like I said, you've got a lot of 9th house energy that is coming up, and that is a very extreme focus on the house of Sagittarius and all of those Sagittarian focused energies. Now, Mercury is going to go retrograde on the 12th of the month, like I said, and Mercury will go direct at the eclipse point on September the 5th. So you're probably going to have an aha moment on the 5th of September, dealing with something that come up around the eclipse for you. The illuminated tarot cards that I pulled for you are also interesting. You've got the 5 of Spades, which this card deals with a difficult opponent or possible disappointment. I see this as keeping your cards close to your chest, either you or someone you are dealing with, possibly in the house of romance, because it's the 5 association. The 5th house is where Uranus is going retrograde and where Venus went retrograde in the spring. This card is reflective of the 5 of Swords, and that is dealing with the theme of adversity. It can speak to conflict, tension, or defeat. It deals with the air signs. The air signs are Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius. I feel like this could also represent hidden details or a hidden agenda, and somebody having a really strong poker face, be it you or somebody else in your 5th house. Again, Uranus, the planet of shocks, liberation, surprises, change, and rebellion, liberation, is retrograde in that 5th house. And Venus, the planet of love, beauty, money, harmony, and resources, went retrograde in that 5th house in spring of this year. The 5th house is the house that's traditionally ruled by Leo, and it's the house of our pleasure, social life, children, and creativity. Second card that was pulled for you is the 6 of Spades. This card deals with leaving worries behind and a transition. I see the moon in the background right here. That makes me feel like it is definitely tied to the eclipses for you. Probably the solar eclipse because of the 9th house association with higher education. And again, looking at the information that I brought forth with the tarot math in that 6th house where, you know, Virgo's hosting Mercury retrograde. The 6 deals with the 6th house. That is the house of Virgo. Dealing with your work and your health, your competency and skills that you bring to the services that you provide. You're dealing with a solar eclipse in the 9th house. I feel like a lot of you are dealing with the fact that you probably want to go back to school or you want to travel, get away from where you've been, get away from the bad energy. This card, the number 6, speaks to the theme of growth, and it can represent a transition or a rite of passage. The spades represent the swords energy in the Rider-Waite Tarot. The swords are again tied to air signs, Gemini, Libra, or Aquarius. I also see this card as either entering or leaving the dark night of the soul period. And it also makes me want to tell you that you need to watch your back in the area of your work and your health. Just because it feels like the adversity could be sneaking up behind you and you don't see it happening. Like you could be dealing with a frenemy. The 7th house is open enemies. That could be a frenemy. That could be someone you work with that is sabotaging you in one way or another. And that's just one example of many that it could be. The Sage Goddess Gemstone Oracle card that I pulled for you. Okay. Demeteorite. I'm probably mispronouncing that. And the way that it's colored, it's very difficult to see. It's Dumertierite. It deals with patience, psychic ability, and resilience. It can help heal and amplify the vibrations of the third eye chakra. Dumortierite is how I'm going to pronounce it. Dumortierite brings order to chaos. It releases negative thoughts and relieves what holds you back from your true self. You've pulled this card because the universe is calling you to have patience and trust the process. Meditate with Dumortierite to soothe your nerves, to enhance your intuitive insight, and to remain calm under stress. Releasing negative thoughts. The second card that was pulled for you is a Still Bite card. It deals with clarity, peace, and dreaming. It can help heal and amplify the vibrations of the heart and crown chakra. Still Bite is the stone of love, bliss, joy, and calming frequencies. It opens you to receive the universe's infinite love and also helps you to accurately interpret your dreams. You've pulled this card because you need deep self-love and to pay more attention to the messages you receive in the dream state. So meditate with Still Bite to feel blissful, balanced, and insightful. Sagittarius, it looks like you've got a big transition coming in front of you, and I feel like that transition is going to be brought about because of the eclipses and the reflection that is coming to you through the Mercury retrograde. A lot of our outer planets are retrograde, which are focusing the mind's eye on an introspection where we're going within to rethink things. So, I'm sending you a lot of love, Sagittarius. I do hope that you're well. Please take care of yourself and please be kind to yourself and save some of that kindness for others because we're all going through private battles in our world that some of us may never speak about to another living soul. I hope you enjoyed this reading as well. If you did, please like, share, and subscribe. And if you already have, I thank you from the bottom of my very grateful heart. I plan on being around for the solar eclipse to pull some cards for us. I don't know if it'll be for a channel. I'm not sure how I'm going to do it yet. I'm going to follow how I'm led to do it. It may be streamed. Again, I'm not sure yet. I'm going to go the way that I'm led. But I have a couple more of these videos to finish, and if you're waiting on a private video, I'm also banging those out as well. Thank you for your graciousness and your patience with me. I've been wanting to get those to you, but my voice has just not been cooperating. I feel as though I'm on the mend, though, so fingers crossed. Send me some love, and I'll send it right back to you. Thank you again for watching, y'all, and I'll see you soon. Take care, Sagittarius. I'll see y'all soon. Namaste. Bye, and I love y'all.